Hey guys, how's it going? We're in the middle of draft season right now. For your fantasy football league here in 2019, I've got a stock up, stock down video for you. I am Al. If you guys are here for the first time, I thank you for finding this channel. Please hit that subscribe button, like this video if you will, and if you could give me a couple of clicks. If you got 2 clicks left for me, I would really appreciate it if you go into the pinned comment down below and click on that Instagram link. Give me a follow over there as well. As I said, I mostly do videos that are DraftKings centric, daily fantasy videos, but I play a ton of season long leagues. A lot of them, most of them, pretty much 99% of them are based on best ball. So we've been focusing a little bit on players' ADPs, who we think the values are, to prepare you guys for your home leagues. If you're playing high stakes leagues, if you're playing best ball leagues, whatever leagues you're trying to prepare for, I'm trying to help you. Now, a lot of stuff happened over this weekend. We had Lamar Miller go down due to an injury. We had Andrew Luck retire surprisingly early, 2 weeks before the season at the age of 29. That's going to cause ripples all throughout everybody's drafts right now. If you have not done your draft yet, you're going to know what these prices are. If you've already drafted and you drafted Lamar Miller, apologies to you. If you drafted Andrew Luck, apologies to you. But now you've got to find a way to shuffle. You guys know from the previous videos that I've done, I was really high on this Indianapolis offense. I'm very high personally on Marlon Mack. We got to talk about what's going to happen to some of those players. So why don't we just get right into it? We'll start with the stock up, guys. We'll start it on a good note. And number 1 is Duke Johnson. His trade from Cleveland to Houston already bumped his stock. He was going as a guy who was being drafted 180th to 200th earlier in the draft season. He gets traded at the beginning of August. That immediately bumped him up to like a 12th rounder. And now with Lamar Miller out and absolutely nobody left on this roster, there's rumors and rumblings that they may sign Jay Ajayi. There's a possibility out there that maybe they ship a bunch of picks and a bunch of things over to San Diego for disgruntled running back star Melvin Gordon III, but none of that has happened at the time that I'm posting this video. So right now, Duke Johnson is the guy in Houston for this Texans offense. Now, I'm not going to go out there and project that Duke Johnson's going to get the ball 25 times a game. That's just not going to happen on a week in, week out basis. I don't think that he is the type of running back that can deal with that type of work. I don't think this offense is scripted to run a running back that much. You look at the amount of touches that Lamar Miller had in previous years, and I think he topped out right around 300, like 260-ish carries being his highest in any one season over the past 4 years. I don't know that Duke Johnson sees 260 carries, but I do think that 240 to 260 touches, if nothing else changes, is in play for Duke Johnson coming up in this football season. So assuming that like 60, maybe 55 to 75 of those come through the air, means that he's going to maybe carry the ball 10 times a week, maybe catch the ball 5-ish times a week, 6-ish times a week. That's pretty good running back. Where do you draft him though? To me, he looks like a better version of James White. James White right now, because of the situation that he's in, he looks like a better version of James White. Volume is king when it comes to drafting your players, whether it's for season-long fantasy or daily fantasy. So Duke Johnson, to me, needs to be drafted ahead of James White. James White, pretty much entrenched as a mid-5th round draft pick. So if you are looking to get Duke Johnson, be ready to pay an end of the 4th round or an early 5th round pick. Moving on to our next player, Jacoby Brissette. Obviously, Andrew Luck retiring. Heartfelt messages from him in the press conference that was forced. I'm not getting into any of the other stuff surrounding the leak of that, surrounding the booing of him getting off the field. We're focusing on fantasy for the purposes of this video. Jacoby Brissette thrust into a position where he's the man now. A lot of people are looking back at what he did in 2017, the last time that he was the starter. But I think that that's the wrong way to look at it. They didn't have a lot of weapons on that team in 2017. They certainly had one of the worst offensive lines in the league on that team. You had Andrew Luck the year prior to that in 2016 get sacked over 40 times, and Jacoby Brissette in 2017 got sacked 52 times in 15 games, leading the league. Last year, Andrew Luck only got sacked, I think it was 16 or 18 times in total. He was one of the 5 least pressured quarterbacks, and now Jacoby Brissette steps behind that offensive line, a top 5 line in the league, with an improved receiving core, T.Y. Hilton's still there, added Funchess, drafted Campbell, has Ebron, has Jack Doyle. They have Nyheim Hines. They've still got Marlon Mack to hand it off to. And again, behind that great offensive line. They have a better coaching staff now with Frank Reich calling the plays and running his offense straight out of the Philadelphia Eagles playbook. If Brissette is going to be a better than average quarterback this year, it's going to happen in this situation. I definitely don't think that he is the same guy that we saw in 2017 with a couple more years in the quarterback room, a couple more years of film study, second year in this same offense with a good head coach and all those weapons that they've added around what was supposed to be Andrew Luck. Jacoby Brissette, both for DFS purposes at 4.4K in week 1 on DraftKings and for daily or for season-long fantasy purposes, considering where he's being drafted as one of the 20th to 25th quarterbacks in the league. What if he's just Nick Foles, but in Indy? Nick Foles the last couple of years looks very similar to me as Brissette does this year, playing behind a great offensive line with a lot of different weapons that can help him out. Good running game, great offensive play calling, great offensive scheme. Same situation now for the Colts and Jacoby Brissette. Stock way up on Jacoby Brissette after Andrew Luck retiring. Darwin Thompson, another guy whose ADP has skyrocketed. It seems that he has passed Carlos Hyde on the depth chart. Carlos Hyde, not even a lock to make this roster anymore. Darwin Thompson, somebody who, as I've said on previous videos, somebody who can win you a week if Williams sits out. You'll see more touches from Darwin Thompson. And if Williams is out for an extended period of time at any point during the season, Darwin Thompson is one play away from being a potential league winner for you as the RB1 in Andy Reid's system for the past umpteen years has ended the season as an RB1 in fantasy sports. So Darwin Thompson, somebody to stash later in drafts around the 12th round as his ADP is skyrocketed as well. One that I did not expect to be on this list, but apparently is Emmanuel Sanders. Stock way up after his preseason that we've seen from him so far. Just whether the injury was not an Achilles injury, whether he's just Wolverine and he's recovered in 9 months from an Achilles tear, whatever the situation is, Manny Sanders was being drafted way too low in leagues, almost a forgotten man, a do not draft and avoid early in draft season, May, June, July. Then he became somebody that maybe you could speculate on. Deshaun Hamilton started dropping. Manny Sanders has gone way up. You're still getting him at a value versus expectation in the 10th to 11th rounds. Manny Sanders, a stock up candidate for me as well. Getting to the stock down players. I mentioned before, I do think Brissette can be fine. But even if he's fine, he's not going to post the numbers that Andrew Luck would have posted in this offense, which for me means the ceiling and the median projection for all of the players on that offense come down. T.Y. Hilton, not going to get the amount of wide open throws downfield that he was going to get from Andrew Luck. Stock down on T.Y. Hilton. I'm not pushing him so far down that he's like a wide receiver 4 or a wide receiver 5, but he goes from somebody who you were drafting around the 2-3 turn to maybe somebody that's falling well into the 4th rounds now. A round and a half ADP drop for him just in the past 48 hours. Marlon Mack, another guy that I was very high on. We spoke about him in the top 25 values videos, going around the 2-3 turn 4 or 5 days ago. Available now in the 4th or 5th round. Marlon Mack had massive upside in this offense before. Was going to be running against light boxes being defined as 8 or less guys around the line of scrimmage. They were going to spread the field. They were going to spread out defenses. They were going to be able to throw it deep whenever they wanted to. And Marlon Mack was going to be able to run behind that great offensive line against really light boxes. He did not perform well against stacked boxes last year, less than 3 yards a carry. He did not play when the Colts were losing in games last year. He was on the field a lot when they were winning, something I expected them to do, something Vegas expected them to do a lot of this year. The total before Andrew Luck retired on, what was it, Saturday night this weekend, was 9.5 wins expected on the DraftKings Sportsbook. The next morning, it came back up. It went off the board, came back up at 6.5. I still think this team can win somewhere between 6 and 9 games this year, depending on how things break late in games. There's a lot of stuff that can change wins and losses that's a little bit out of control, right? A missed field goal here, a made field goal there, an interception, a fumble, a pass interference call, something that's kind of out of their hands that takes a 6-win team to an 8 or a 9-win team. And it happens a few times. We saw it happen negatively to the Chargers a few years ago. But I don't see that 15 to 18 touchdown ceiling for Marlon Mack anymore that I thought was part of the range of outcomes that he could have had with Andrew Luck at the helm. Now, you should see a good amount of carries, 250 plus touches out of Marlon Mack. I don't think he needs to fall out of the RB2 discussion. But he's the back end of the RB2 discussion now. He's no longer the guy you could draft at the 2-3 turn that could turn into a league winner and a top 3 running back at the position if everything breaks his way. Now he's a guy that's going to be a volume guy for you, going to be a goal line guy for you in an offense that should still be all right, maybe 80% of what it was when Luck was there, but not the guy that we thought that he could be when that offense was firing on all cylinders. Eric Ebron, somebody who was already a regression candidate to me. We've gone over this all off season long. Eric Ebron was not going to repeat that 15 touchdown outburst from last year, not with Jack Doyle healthy, because in the games that Jack Doyle was healthy, Ebron played a ton less snaps per game, saw a ton less targets per game in those games where Jack Doyle played. Now they also have Funchess to steal some more of that market zone target inside the red zone and inside the end zone. It's just not going to happen for Eric Ebron with Luck there, and it's definitely not going to happen with Jacoby Brissette there. Manny, thank you very much for the host. I hope you had a good stream today, man. Looked like you guys had a bunch of people. Big fatty host, 130 folks. Thank you for coming over from Manny's stream. Let me finish this recording. I'll get to show you guys a little bit of love in just a second. Jordan Reed, my final stock down candidate for this video. Unfortunately, this guy just can't stay healthy. Suffered another concussion this last week, week 3 of preseason. Totally unfortunate. Was having a great camp just like every year. Physical beast, absolutely outstanding football player, just can't stay healthy. And if they can't be on the field, they're not scoring fantasy points. So Jordan Reed, apologies to you, but you're on my stock down list here 1 week before the season hits. Thank you guys for joining once again. I appreciate y'all being here. Please click like, subscribe to the channel, drop me a follow on Instagram. Here's a video. Here's another video for you to watch. And I'll catch up to you on Wednesday when my next upload hits. Bye.